Welcome to Unwind and Wonder podcast, where relatable topics bring us together, making you feel connected and understood. I'm Liza.
I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Felicity. Today, we're jumping into the world of mindful living and exploring what it means to stay present and live mindfully.
So grab your coffee, your almond milk, your matcha latte, and let's unwind and wonder together.
Today, we're talking about mindfulness. This is, I think, very close to all of our hearts, right? In a very
Mhm.
fast-paced world that we live in, trying to slow things down and being present in the moment. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and engaged in the present moment without judgment. Right? That's when we know about meditation, without judgment. It was originated from the Buddhist meditation practices, and it has gained popularity for its effectiveness in managing stress and enhancing overall well being. And there are a lot of benefits that research has found with mindfulness.
Talking about like living in a fast-paced environment, I feel sometimes it's hard to remain present because we're thinking about what we have to do later, maybe laundry, we have to cook, we have errands to run, we have to go to work, we have to wake up early. And I think sometimes we lose sight of the present. And like you mentioned, like that's all we really have right now. It's this moment. And how do we really stay engaged and present? know I used to really practice grounding. There's this grounding theory where you plant like both of your feet firmly on the ground and you kind of like envision yourself as a tree. And if we think about trees, we think about like how big and strong they are and how grounded they are. Like you're not moving a tree unless, some real disaster. And I always, now that we're bringing this topic to surface, like it just reminds me of how important it is to like practice that, especially in difficult situations or in complex ones or things that are just aren't going the way we want them to. It's kind of bringing you back to like the center of the moment, like just really grounding yourself. There's other practices, but I always think about like the tree and just staying present and here and in the moment. So I think it can be difficult, but I know with practice, it's something that we can also achieve.
Grounding, like, did you have to take, I've heard about it, I've never done it. What was it like? Did you have to take your shoes off?
You literally plant both of your feet firmly onto the floor. You can do it without shoes, with shoes, but I think it's even recommended like without shoes. So you can really feel like the sensation of like opening your toes, having your toes firmly planted, giving you that strength, like starting from the bottom of your feet and then just kind of working your way up. It includes like a lot of breathing activities and to help you just stay present in the moment, like in this moment, kind of like how a tree is. It's kind of it's strong, it's there, it's grounded, it's not going anywhere. So it's one of the ways to practice just staying in this present moment, because we do have a lot of things that we worry about, like errands, working, going to school, taking care of children. Like there's a lot of responsibilities, and sometimes we lose sight of the present moment because we're worried or thinking about things in the future.
How did you feel when you did it, and for how long did you did it? Was it like 1 hour? What was the frequency?
I do want to say that grounding can be very uncomfortable for a lot of people, especially if it's something that's not something that you're used to. It can be very, like, you can feel very uncomfortable to stay in the present moment because, again, it's like trying to rid the judgment thoughts, the worry thoughts, the what if thoughts. So it can be very uncomfortable. Grounding, it's usually recommended to start with a short amount of time, like maybe 5 minutes, maybe even less than that, maybe like 2 minutes, just practicing grounding within like a few minutes and then slowly working your way up to longer periods of time. A lot of people may do the grounding activity usually like in the mornings, like right when you wake up, or sometimes in the middle of the day. Like it was, there was even some readings on even when you're at work, like just taking a few minutes, disconnecting and just practicing grounding for at least like maybe 5 minutes. Like just, turning your computer off, taking a few minutes to yourself to just recharge and get ready to tackle whatever it is that has to be done.
The scenarios that you also mentioned, right? So it is something that takes practice and could be very uncomfortable for some people. And also, you could use it anytime, any place. So if you're stressed out with something, once you have the practice, you could take your time, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, just to get you connected with things that you need to possibly settle down. Because usually we use the techniques when we're feeling anxious or we're feeling uncomfortable in some way.
Yeah.
Um, And then that's the good thing about this techniques is that you don't need a fixed time, you don't need a fixed place. Mentality of multitasking, that this doesn't even the construct of multitasking is not a reality because I've never been able to do multitasking. Like I'm focused in so many things at the same time. One thing is gonna get done well, and the other one is like a little bit here, a little bit there.
Why do we lie to ourselves? Why do we push it so much? Like, why?
I feel like it's
I
the
think because we're
expectation.
expecting.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an
Yeah, it's
expectation.
expectation. Yeah, that we can, that you should know how to, that you can, like why not? And you're right. Like how do we really multitask in an effective way? Because then we
Mm,
start dropping little ducks here and there. It's like, oh, well, this didn't get
mhm.
done or something else, or we forget to, I don't know, defrost the chicken that we have in our freezer, or we forget to like just the simple things because we're trying to do so much in so little time.
Also emotionally, how are you
Ooh,
invested? Because now you're spreading yourself thin, right?
yeah.
Your energy is sipped out. So
Yeah.
you almost like automatically doing these things, but you're not in any of them. You might not be even present. You might not be enjoying them. You might not be taking things out of them that you need to. Not to say that multitasking shouldn't happen. It's just a frequency, I believe, in which we multitask.
So I love meditation. It is everything to me. It is it's like I cannot express how meaningful it is in my life. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I want to preface that all of everything I'm going to say, I want to say that it is hard to do. I actually struggle doing meditation without guidance, right? So a lot of the meditation I do is guided meditation. So I have someone walk me through it. The person who I really enjoy the most, she's her name is Tara Brack. She's like a meditation teacher. So she has like a website, all of these like free meditations on there for different subject matter, even. Um, it's like fear, forgiveness, all of those things. She has all these guided meditations, and some of them are really short, some of them are longer, and you can do those. And that's what I do most frequently. I did at one point belong to like a Buddhist Sangha, like a community, and I used to go on silent retreats with them. Did I tell you guys this before? Yeah.
No.
Okay. No. Yeah. So I used to go on silent retreats. How I found out about it was because one of my sister's friends. One day we were like at her house hanging out, and she said that her mother-in-law was going on a silent retreat. And the moment that she said that, I said, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to. Like the moment that she said it, I just knew, right? So I asked her, I was like, tell me more about it. And then that's how I got involved with the group. And because it was like her mother-in-law was like one of the leaders, like they like brought me in so much love, right?
Mm.
So for them, it's Zen Buddhism. For them, how they do it is like sit in a room for hours with nothing happening at all. And you sit on a little cushion or you sit on the floor and you just in silence, you meditate the entire time. I did that a few times, like for several days in a row. And what I can tell you about it is that
Wait,
what?
days, hours?
Days.
Wait, days and
Days.
hours.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
But I'm
never
I
right
did it
there
for
with
me.
Felicity. I'll be sitting there for an hour. I could do it.
you no, I doubt it.
I could do an
I,
hour. I could
but
do an
what?
hour.
Yes, you could do an hour. You could do an hour
But
for
when you
sure. You
say
could do
is it
days
a
too.
is it a
You
guided
can
meditation too, Felicity? Like, are they
no,
guiding you?
no, 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 no,
So you just
no.
sitting there by choice?
in a in a dimly lit room with other people, and it's not even dimly lit because you're there for the whole day. So first of all, in the morning, so this is like the retreat version. So
Yeah.
you go on the retreat so first you go to the place that we used to go for a retreat is in like upstate New York, just very beautiful, quiet up there, right? So first you go to the retreat house, you get there, you eat dinner, and it's so funny because the whole time everything else is a rush except to sit. They call it sitting, right? Everything else is a rush except to sit. So you eat fast. This was what really surprised me. Like we made our own food, but everything is fast. Like you eat fast, you go to the bathroom fast, everything is fast just so you can sit. And you start sitting at like 5 a.m. what I hated, and the guy who's like in this group, like the guy who was in charge of like waking us up, he's like ring this little bell. So when I would hear that bell in the morning, I would just want to like scream my head off because I could not like believe that it's so early in the morning and like these people are like getting up, but you have no choice. So then I go downstairs and you just sit from like 5 a.m. and so you experience the whole day going, like the sun coming up, the sun at its height. You
That's my
experience the
dream.
whole
My
thing.
dream right
It's
there.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
I would feel like it was a waste of a
Yes.
day.
Oh my God, it's
No,
not. You feel
no.
so connected with yourself and the
Mm,
love and the beauty. It's love and emotions that you didn't know that you had. You start
mm,
finding them. I
mhm.
totally agree with Felicity.
I would
That
have been
and
like, there's so much I could have done in these 24 hours.
it's
And I'm
so it's
sitting here.
what I noticed is that when after coming back, I looked at the world differently. So I would see things in my environment that I'd never seen before. Like I remember
Yes,
walking down my block and I saw a red door in like the sky. I had never seen this red door before. And I can't express what it meant to me seeing it for the first time. Like it
Look at
was
these New
this
York City pigeons. They look so cute. Look at
everything,
these squirrels.
yeah, I
They're
can't with
everything is
adorable.
Kimberly. I just
different.
can't with her.
Everything is different. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah.
It is. I agree. I'm like we're laughing here. I'm not laughing because of it sounds strange, but I think what it is that to have someone who understands that. So she says it like that now, but she'll be the first one to be guiding all those meditations one
I
by
will
one.
definitely guide it. I just
Yeah,
have to be doing something. I just can't
she
sit
has
there.
to
All
be doing
right,
something.
just sit there.
Yeah.
I just can't. I just think
One
there's
of
so much we have to do, you know?
But I do agree. It is. I wish that Keisha was here because she actually went to one of those retreats. She went
I'm
to one.
going to one
Look at that. And then she's here saying, like, what?
because I always want to, like, I'm always willing to give things a chance. Like, I do
I
want to
love
give it an
that.
opportunity, right? So I want to try it. But when I listen to just sitting, I think I'll be the first one, like, all right, this was nice. I'm going to go. Like, I don't like, so it's just,
But the good thing, Kim, is that you already have some sort of experience. I think for someone who hasn't done it before, it will be, what am I doing here? But you already mentioned with grounding and how that already is kind of setting up the ground for you. I'm glad that you're giving it a try. Good for
thank
you.
you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
especially because you're hesitant about it. It's funny. I've seen like in life a lot of people who are like kind of averse to things. It's actually you who's the one who's really going to love it more than everybody else. Have you ever noticed that?
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do I
Like
get a
none
job
of
here?
Right, exactly.
I belong here. I want to be here.
Exactly.
How do I work here?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I wouldn't be surprised.
always be mindful before you get into
That's hard to
something
find.
that it works for you. And we always give that disclaimer. Be read into it. Make sure that that's a good fit for you. If you have to go to the professional route, go through the professional route. Not promoting any type of specific meditation of mindfulness. We're just sharing our experiences and what we've known so far and how we have helped us being mindful and checking in, but not promoting any type of meditation. Benefits of mindfulness. What are some of the benefits of mindfulness?
Well, I know for me, it's just a feeling of like of calm right away, even if I do like a very short meditation. And it's also a release too. Like sometimes when I do like the guided meditation, sometimes I cry, like, because of what I'm thinking about. So it's like very it's like it can be like an emotional release too.
When I think about mindfulness, I always think about not being impulsive because I know that there can be situations that can get us, anxious or worried. And I think when I think about mindfulness, it's like, how do I take that step back, be mindful of my surroundings, of the response that I want to give, and then, approach the situation? Because sometimes mindfulness can help just because we were talking about work and I'm thinking about work, family, just who we are with different people and around different situations, it can be stressful. And I think mindfulness allows us to talk with a clear mind, express ourselves clearly so that we get the best results out of a situation that we're in.
And sometimes I feel like
Mm.
we're pressured to have those answers right away,
Yes.
right?
Every day we're always pressured to
Every
have it right
day.
away. Yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
fair. And my answer that I give you after I take some time to meditate on it is gonna just be so much better.
Research indicates that mindfulness can reduce stress, anxiety, depression while improving attention, memory, and emotional regulation. I don't know
For
how many
sure.
times in the day you sit down there like, what am I supposed to be doing now? My mind just goes blank. I cannot think of anything else. I'm like, oh my God, I know, but it is so many things that you're trying to keep, so many holes in the air.
I think it's important to just think about when, like to plan. You know how we're always talking about planning things? The same way we plan for everything else, it's planning time for ourselves because we're always thinking about what I need to do for somebody else, what I need to do here, but what about us? When do we put time aside? Like, I want to do something for me. And I think it's important to plan it in your day. Like, I'm going to spend the first 30 minutes when I wake up, or 30 minutes in my lunch hour, or 30 minutes before I go to bed. Like, when do we put time aside to practice mindfulness to help us to start our day or to end our day feeling, proud of all we did? We do a lot. We do a lot for others. That's what I always think of it, like the demands, the push that we have to get things done. So when do we do it for us too?
I was reading a little bit last night and I saw that some companies like LinkedIn and who's the other one? I forgot what the other company is, but there's like several companies that have incorporated mindfulness into the workplace. And they'll actually have like committees that work on bringing mindfulness into the workplace, like bringing speakers and apps and things like that. And so one of them, I think it is LinkedIn who does it. Um, they have an app, or several of them actually, they have apps that their employees have. And one of them is a guided meditation that you can do. It only lasts 1 minute and you can do it before a meeting. Like the instructions are, you could do this one before a meeting. And so I listened to it and it's just a voice that guides you. So like when you're before you walk in the door or before you like jump into the Zoom room, you just do this meditation and it helps to ground you, right? So there's so many ways that you can incorporate mindfulness throughout your day, anywhere. But I think it's important to have a schedule, to your point, Kim, because you may forget to take care of yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So having a schedule and knowing that you do it at a certain time, I think would be super useful. So I have this friend, one day we had like a trip that we were all going on. It was one of my friend's birthdays. So me and one friend, we drove from New York to DC and then to Virginia, where the house was, where everyone was going to meet and all that kind of stuff, right? It was an amazing adventure, the whole thing. But my friend here who drove, what he did is like, he said, we're going to practice mindfulness this whole trip. And I was like, okay, fine. So what he did was before we even started driving, like when we went to get gas, even, he said, like, let's have a mindfulness moment. And he had an app. So he played the app and we did a mindfulness meditation, very short, like about 5 minutes. Then when we got to the house in DC, like literally we walk in the door, there's like people, music, like drinking, like the whole nine is happening. Like when we walk in the house, he says, Felicity and I are going to do a mindfulness meditation. Does anyone want to come? And people actually came with
Oh,
us. We went into a
wow.
room, yes, and we did the meditation there. And then when we got to Virginia, we did the same thing. And every night we would have a mindfulness meditation moment. And he kept it going consistently. And it was just beautiful. And it was also surprising, like the people who would join us. And it just was like, it was so nice. It was remarkable. And I want to do that more with my friends in other settings.
Realistically, in the world that we in New York City, knowing how New York City is always going fast paced, rushing trains, rushing here, how do we tell to my friend, like a real person, this is how you can start putting in time for mindfulness?
I know how to answer that. I think it starts with knowing that you deserve this. I think it starts by knowing that you are worthy and you deserve a moment to yourself. Because exactly what you described, it's like it is. Everything is fast paced, everything. But you are worthy and you deserve these moments, and you deserve to be present, and you deserve to give your best in everything that you do. And the way to start that is by putting yourself first. And I know this might sound so cliche because you first, but think about it. When you go onto a plane, if the plane is about to fall, you have to put your mask on first. You can't help someone unless you help you. So I think it's just knowing that I deserve this and I want to do this. And then we have alarms. Think about how many alarms you have throughout the day. So many alarms. We can set one 5-minute alarm for ourselves and just say, this is what I'm going to do in this time. And stopping what you're doing and just taking those 5 minutes for you. I think it's possible. I'm going to start doing this. I think this is great. So this is really helpful.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be 5 minutes. It could be like just what you were describing, like grounding, like even just a few seconds of taking that deep breath, putting your feet really, really on the ground and taking that deep breath, letting the air fill your lungs, feeling those things in the moment. Even that 1 or 2 breaths, that's like a moment of mindfulness that will take you a long way. Yeah, I love what you said about being worthy. I remember in hot yoga one day, I had this teacher who I really love. She's moved now to Florida, but she used to be a cop. She was a New York City cop, an ex New York City cop. Now she's like all into yoga and stuff like that. So she's like this really like tough, beautiful girl. And I was doing this like really hard pose, and she walked over to me and she stood next to me, and she said, "You are worthy." And I remember like thinking to myself, like, I never looked at it that way, that I'm worthy of like getting this posture and being in it. Like and it just changed a lot for me hearing that, like, so it's really like, to see ourselves as being worthy of being taken care of, being worthy of being in the moment. Like that's something like really significant.
There's a lot of practices for mindfulness. We only went into a couple of ones here, but there's a lot of things that you could practice mindfulness: meditation, breath awareness, body scan, mindful walking, mindful eating, grounding techniques that we went into a little bit, centering techniques, which is closer to grounding.
I want to say that the most important piece that I gathered from this is to do things with purpose. I think sometimes we just do things just to get them done. Like it's like a checkbox. Like, all right, this is done, 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 done. But I wonder if we just take the time and do them with purpose. Like just the example you gave about the piece of paper, like pick things up, like do things because they matter. Like don't do it just because like, all right, checklist. Like do it because it's like, genuinely, I want to do this. I want to be present in this moment. I want to make myself feel good by doing this. So I do appreciate that, because it's like my biggest takeaway about just doing things with purpose and with a good heart. Like don't do it because you're forced to, but more because, I want to do this.
I can't help but thinking about the word intention in what you're saying, Kim.
My takeaway, giving things a try. Right. So right now, you never know what's going to be. And that's something, give a try to maybe grounding. Just what Kim was saying, like, oh, it's something that I've never done. I don't know if I know my personality, possibly I'm not going to be able to get through, but I'm going to give it a try. I never thought I was going to like hot yoga, but I gave it a try and I like it. So give it a try and try to different things. And maybe something is not working for you. Maybe something else will. There's so many different things out there. It's not like we always say, it's not one size fits all.
My takeaway is that sometimes I think like the thoughts that I have and the things that I'm doing are just so unique and different to me. And then listening to you two talk, I'm like, this is awesome, that I feel a freedom that I can say these things out loud now.
Oh, that made me cry. No, oh, like I feel that in my soul.
I want to see you guys cry.
Of course you do. that of course you do, Kim. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Unwind and Wonder. Your hosts today, Liza Ruiz, Kimberly Rivera, and Felicity Tessila.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you like what you see, make sure to give us a 5-star rating.
Thank you for unwinding with us. Remember, Stay present, live mindfully, and stay curious.